The underground network, what mushrooms know about community that marketers don't. Under the forest floor right now, there's an entire network. It's so vast and so old that the mushrooms that we see popping up after rain are only its fruit. The real organism lives underground. It's a web of threads finer than hair called mycelium, spreading through the soil in every direction, connecting the roots of trees across an entire forest. In a single teaspoon of healthy soil, there can be miles of it. Miles in a teaspoon. And through that web, the trees are talking. They are trading. A tall tree in a sunny patch sends sugar through the fungal network to a young sapling stuck in the shade. A birch and a fir, these are different species. Supposedly they're competitors. They feed each other across the seasons, one giving when the other is bare. And when one tree is attacked by insects, it sends warning signals through the web. And trees far away, they start raising their chemical defenses before the insects ever reach them. Scientists who study this have a nickname for it that made it into every headline. This was a few years ago. The Wood Wide Web. So welcome back to Solaris Sessions. I'm Melanie, the founder of Solaris Method, the strategic and the sacred working together. And today we go underground into the mycelial network, and we're going to read it in three ways: the science, the strategy, and the correspondence in your own life. And I'll tell you now that this episode that quietly dismantles basically almost everything you've been taught about marketing. You're going to see. Okay, so let's start with the science because it's absolutely humbling and it's beautiful. I love this. That fungal network is doing something that economists would call impossible without a central authority. Where's the boss of the fungal network? There's no boss, no headquarters, no manager assigning resources, and yet resources flow to where they're needed. Warnings, they propagate to where they matter, and the whole forest becomes more resilient than any single tree could ever be all by itself. It's a decentralized system that behaves intelligently without a brain. It's the same the same lesson as the slime mold that I mentioned in episode 1. Hopefully you heard that one, but it's bigger and it's alive across centuries. So here's the part that reorganized my whole way of understanding this. The fungus in the tree, they're not doing charity work. This is just a genuine exchange. The tree makes sugar from sunlight, which the fungus cannot do. And the fungus mines water and scarce minerals from the soil far beyond the tree's own roots and reaches into spaces that the tree cannot. And they trade what each is good at. Biologists call this mutualism. So it's a relationship where both organisms are better off in this network than they would be alone. And it's a relationship that compounds over time. And the tree is much healthier because of the fungus. And the fungus is fed because of the tree. And the whole forest, standing on this hidden web of reciprocity, it can survive droughts and fires and centuries that would kill any one organism alone. So let's go back to that word reciprocity, because reciprocity is the key that turns the lock. All right. So we're going to read it as strategy. And I have to be honest with you about the industry that I come from, right? In marketing. And so many people know I do not like the word marketing or using the term marketing or being associated with them, but it seems to be the closest thing to what I do, I guess, right? So most marketing is designed like agriculture, not the forest. It's a monoculture, right? So you clear the ground, you plant one crop, say that's like the leads, and then you pump in the fertilizer, and that's like the money for your ad spend. And you harvest it as fast as possible. We're crushing it, right? And you extract and extract until the soil is dead. And you've probably spent a lot of money at that point. And then you go and find new ground and you do it over again. And the funnel is the extraction machine, right? It pictures a human being as something that falls down a chute, gets converted, and pops out the bottom as more revenue. Ugh, it's so gross. And people can feel it, right? That's that creepy, crawly discomfort that so many people that have a soul that are connected to truth and nature that they feel. And that's why marketing makes them cringe. That's why I do try to distance myself from that term. And yeah, it's not that you're bad at any of this. It's that you can feel the extraction and like the harvesting in every honest cell of your body and your being, and it just feels hollow. So the mycelial network, it offers a completely different design. So what if your business isn't a farm that extracts, but what if it's a node in a forest that exchanges? So let's make this concrete, because it's not just pretty and beautiful thinking about these things. This is actually more effective and it's cheaper doing it this way. So think about how a forest actually recruits new trees. It doesn't chase them. It just creates such rich soil and such healthy underground web that the seeds landing there, they thrive. And the ones landing on bare dirt nearby don't thrive. And the forest grows by being the best place to be rooted. And in business, that's basically the referral network. It could be the community. It could be maybe it's a pediatrician who sends you every anxious family or the past client who won't stop talking about you. So these are mycelial connections. And the research on this is super clear. And we could even put it in cold marketing terms. Relationship-based referral is the highest trust. It's low cost growth and it's the most natural. A pre-trusted introduction converts like nothing that an ad can buy because it arrives through a web instead of falling down this sophisticated chute, right? So the strategic principles, let's learn that straight from the fungus, all right? First, feed the network before you need it. The mycelium is built in the quiet times, thread by thread, long before the drought comes. The trees that survive the dry year are the ones already connected when it hits. In business, this is the relationship you nurture with absolutely no agenda. It's the value that you give away. It's the colleague that you help and you didn't expect anything back. Founders who only reach out when they need something are trying to draw resources through a web that they never built. The network has to exist before the need. You cannot grow mycelium in the middle of a crisis. Do you see why I love talking about these things? So many people don't understand this, and it's so simple and so essential, and it's so everywhere. It's so obvious. Once it's pointed out, you're going to see it everywhere. All right, second, I love this. Trade what you're genuinely good at. Because the mutualism works because each organism offers what the others can't make. So don't try to be the whole forest. We all only have 24 hours a day. So be who you are and be good at it. And find the thing that you do so well that others can't. Maybe that would be your actual sunlight, right? And become known as the reliable source for exactly that thing. And then connect deliberately to those who provide what you lack. A network of specialists and reciprocity beats a lone generalist every single time. And this is why I'd rather have 12 deep mutualist relationships than 1,200 million shallow followers. Yeah, the 12 are load bearing, and then like the 1,200 million, they're just the noise and the weather, right? You need the load bearing ones. Third, resilience lives in the connections, not the nodes. So here's the strategic framework that matters most. A single tree, no matter how magnificent, is fragile. One lightning strike and it's gone. A forest is nearly immortal because the intelligence and the resources live in the web between the trees and not any one trunk. If your business is one heroic, charismatic, amazing founder, one giant tree holding everything up, then you have built something that is actually fragile. If it's a living web of relationships, of systems, documented knowledge, and a community, you've built a resilient one. And notice the correspondence to something that we said before. The business that depends entirely on the founder is line growth. It's fragile, it's extractive. It's so extractive on the person in the center. The networked business is the forest growth. It can lose a branch, it can lose one tree, and it can still live. Now the third reading, the correspondence. And this one I found is where people get a little more emotional. So I will go gently here. The pattern in the forest is reciprocity, the sustained two-directional flow of giving and receiving. And here is the uncomfortable mirror. Most of the founders I have worked with have a broken relationship, and I have also myself with this flow. Usually it's one specific direction. Perhaps they are magnificent givers and terrible receivers. They send sugar through every thread to every client, every fiber of their being, every family member, every team, to every stranger, and they have quietly rigged their entire life so nothing flows back to them. They may call it strength, but it's actually a blocked network. I talk also about myself so much. It's not just the founders. Like I have so done this. And a tree that only gives and never receives water and minerals through the web does not survive. It dies of depletion while looking from the outside, like the most generous tree in the forest. How could this happen to me? Okay, if that landed a little too accurately, hey, I almost cried because I have almost died being right there. I want you to hear the forest's correction because it's not scolding you or anyone. It's permission. Yay. In a healthy mycelial network, receiving is absolutely not weakness. It's not taking. It is the other half of the circulation that keeps the whole forest alive. And when you refuse to receive either the help or the compliment or the rest, the support, the love, you are not being noble. You are starving the web. And every relationship in your life is connected to whether that circulation is open or not. All right, so here's the practice this week. And it's a receiving practice because I suspect that you've got the giving part of this handled. Maybe you don't, but a lot of you are good at giving, especially if you're into this work. Once this week, let something flow to you and don't immediately repay it. When someone offers help, say yes and just say thank you. When a compliment comes, don't deflect it. Let it reach the roots. When you're tired, receive rest without earning it first. And watch what comes up. Because for a chronic giver, receiving brings up a lot of stuff. It does. Be prepared for that. Maybe it's the fear of being a burden, or the old belief that your worth is only in your usefulness. Or that belief would be a young, immature, exiled part of you that decided that love had to be earned. And that is not true. And it never was true. You are already whole. The forest doesn't feed the sapling because the sapling earned it because it was cute. It feeds it because it's part of the web. And that is enough. Okay, and watch how this correspondence competes with itself because it's perfect and exact. The founder who cannot receive builds a business that cannot delegate. And that would be like the one heroic tree, right? Open the receiving in the person, and the business can finally become a forest. Heal it at the scale you can reach, and it moves through every other scale. That is law, as within, so without. So let me close this underground where we started. The reason the forest has survived every catastrophe of the last 100 million billion years, every fire, every flood, every ice age, it's not because of the strength of any single tree. It's the web. The quiet, patient, invisible reciprocity happening beneath the floor where all the tall trees feed and the small ones and the well-fed feed and the struggling, and nobody keeps a ledger because the ledger is the entire forest itself. And the forest remembers. Your business wants to be that, not a farm that you extract and strip. It's a forest that you tend. And the first thread of that whole network is the one you're often least willing to build, the one that lets the world give back to you. The next episode, we go from underground to overhead up in the sky to watch 1,000 starlings move as one body without a single leader. I love watching that. And I'll show you what murmuration teaches about building a team and a brand that moves in unison without anyone barking orders. Welcome to this beautiful new earth and this beautiful new and ancient way of connecting with the world and truth. I'm Melanie. This is Solaris Method, the strategic and the sacred. And everything that I do, well, not everything, but you can find out more about what I do at solarismethod.com. Tend the web and let it feed you too.